Rashid in, bowls to Cummins, who scoops this back up the onside of the pitch. It requires Alex Hales to come across from mid-wicket to prevent them going for anything more than a single.
It's strange, isn't it? Because I was going to turn around to you about an over ago and say I thought Rashid had bowled better than his figures, and then he's taken 2 wickets with awful ball.
Well, true. Here he is again, in. Bowls, oh, that was the attempted flipper, I think, and went a little bit wrong. It's cut. But they'll only get a single as Morgan parries it at extra cover. This is Rashid's last over. He's got very impressive figures. If you didn't know the balls that got the last couple of wickets, you would have said, I don't know. The wicket that got Matthew Wade was probably a slightly poor shot from him, but give him credit for putting doubt in his mind. He's in, bowls to Cummins, who fetches a leg break from a long way outside off stump. Did very well to get that behind square. He's going to have to come back quickly to get the second, but that is good running from Cummins and thoughtful cricket from him. Takes him to 4, Australia to 253 for 7.
Dr. Dan reminds Knackle that he promised to play the Kiwi Cali jingle, but he's not on at the moment. When he's back on, I will remind him he has to do that.
Well, can we find the Kiwi Cali jingle?
Oh,
and
you'll have to look up Kiwi Cali in the search mode.
Can you put me under efforting? Efforting.
Jonah says Roy looks like he's been on the lash for a week with no sleep.
Maybe he has. Maybe that's part of the problem. Cummins goes back to this one, which is a googly, although it keeps a little bit low. Can't really get the leverage into the shot that he wants, and he picks out Morgan at extra cover. So 4 runs from the first 4 balls of this over.
Jonah also tells us, I had a pear and truffle pizza in Moscow. It was amazing.
Pear and truffle? Oh, that's a lovely leg break, which, to be fair, Pat Cummins comes forward to and aims a rather wafty drive. And he was beaten, and Butler took off the bails, but I don't think there was any suggestion that he'd dragged his foot out of the crease.
Whitey says, under Queen Elizabeth II, the Ashes record is thus, after this ball.
Oh, now where's that gone? Is that a corn bowl? It is another corn bowl. This final delivery, Rashid has taken his 4th wicket. It was just a little chip back to him from a ball fullish on the line of middle and leg. Whether it turned a little bit and he got a leading edge, I'm not sure. But it was very difficult to see because Rashid kind of was in the way. It was hard to see whether he caught it. It was only his reaction that suggested he had. Yes, his lovely little chip back. Most comfortable catch you could imagine. And Adil Rashid has taken 4 for 41 in his 10 overs, and Patrick Cummins has gone for 4, and Australia are just falling apart here at 253 for 8.
But it was not your fault but mine, and it was your heart on the line. I really fucked it up this time, didn't I, my dear? Didn't I, my dear?
Can we just check for how few runs these last 4 wickets have gone down for? It's almost nothing. Poor old Travis Head, who has been batting really well at the other end, over a run a ball, and keeping the score going, has just watched people come and go. And now he's going to have to wait for Josh Hazlewood to come in. Or who's number 10? No, it's Adam Zampa, isn't it? Of course, the spinner. He might be impressed by Adil Rashid's figures. He might think he can.
How did you describe him earlier on, Katie?
Adam Zampa?
Oh, that was who was that? Jane Francis, I think, had a.
What about his hairstyle?
Luscious.
Luscious.
Was it the luscious
so.
Adam Zampa?
Right. Anyway, there we go.
The enemies of the mighty fear many things. Yet there is one thing they fear above all others. They fear Adam Zampa.
Well, it's 50 for Travis Head as he turns this first ball of a new over from Mark Wood. Mark Wood's final over away into the onside for a single.
Australia were 239 for 4.
They're now
the 8th wicket fell when they were on 253.
So 14 for 4.
Yeah.
A little spell of 4 wickets for 14 runs has really put Australia on the back foot. Now, we know that their strongest suit is probably bowling, and they are an impressive bowling unit, and they're going to have to actually bowl extremely well to keep England away from what this total might finally be. Wood bowls him a big Yorker to start with. It wasn't quite a Yorker. He got it on the full toss, but got down on it and played it with a full face of the bat, and that is the best way to play Yorkers, to keep them out. There's no run.
You've got to say they'd be lucky to get 350 from here, wouldn't they?
350
Nearly 100 runs from
might be a little bit beyond them.
that's
less than 4
I think
overs.
also 320 is beyond them.
Wickets.
I think 300 is beyond them. 46 shy of 300 at the moment, with 3.4 overs to go. Would need
280 if it all goes well.
extraordinary batting. Possibly. This one comes back into him, but he can do no more than defend. And 86 miles an hour. I'm not sure that Adam Zampa will have faced many bowlers who are potentially as quick as Wood.
Plunkett to take 2
Plunkett
of the remaining 3 overs after
2,
this.
and then who would be the other end? It would
Ball.
Well, it's been a bit expensive, hasn't he? But I imagine that's the way they'll go. If in fact they need all those overs, they might think we can bowl them out before that. Wood again wide on the crease, another Yorker. Well, it wasn't an attempted Yorker, it ended up being a massive full toss, but he missed it anyway, and it took out his off stump. Zampa goes for a duck, and Australia are just falling away.
This
They're
a fucking
254 for 9.
I'm a loser. Yeah, I'm a loser, babe. I'm just a loser.
Well, they're going to have to produce a tremendous bowling performance to stop England getting this. So they're going to have to bowl England out, I would say. England would get it, probably the extent of their attacking batting. They would expect to chase down 250 odd, but the only way that they can be beaten probably is to be bowled out.
Nathan N. White reminds us, under Queen Elizabeth II, the Ashes record is thus: Australia 16, England 14 and 4 draws.
Under Queen Elizabeth II?
Yeah, so since 52.
In Test match? Do you mean in Test series?
That's got to be serious.
That's series rather than matches. They've played a lot more matches.
Yeah, but that's 34 series. That sounds like a lot of series.
Well, she's
Oh, no, it's every 2 years,
It's every
isn't
2
it?
I was going to
So
say,
that's about right,
yeah, that's
she's
about
been
right.
she's been on the phone for a bit.
There you go.
She's been on the phone for a bit.
Or the throne.
Oh, the throne.
James Richardson says, I was hoping you would play the fuck off jingle for Matthew Wade. Nathaniel
missed
Michaels
opportunity.
suggests that Smith should declare and get into them.
Yeah. That might be the best way.
He could have also forfeited his first innings as well, but there you go.
Way Way Pom Pom says, Rashid, rubbish takes wickets, but with that Stark wicket.
Yeah, that start wicket was incredible.
Not good. No. So we've got our last
And last Aussie at the crease.
Aussie at the crease.
It's this man.
He once hit keys wet as stumps. He must be good. Josh Hazelwood.
Total of 20 runs in one-day international cricket. Gets another Yorker, or very full delivery, which somehow he keeps out, not with great confidence.
Same again. Just that bowl again. You know, just like,
Yeah.
you know, let's not overcomplicate this now. Fast, full, straight.
Well, you'd rather see them over-pitching than bowling bowling length balls that are easy to hit, or, you know, and I mean, in fact, that was just too quick for Zampa.
Yes,
it was
swing and a miss.
It was well over-pitched. I mean, it was far too far full to be actually a Yorker. It became a full toss, but he missed it anyway. This is defended up to mid-on, and Wood has completed his spell of 10. He's done extremely well today, has figures of 4 for 33. He's laid down a marker for the Ashes in November.
239 for 4 becomes 254 for 9.
So that's 5 for 15. 5 for 15.
He's getting a standing ovation from the crowd there.
Quite right.
We would do, but it would take us a couple of overs to get Katie off the sofa. Off the divan of destiny.
It always gives me a swell of pride to see the AFC Wimbledon supporter performing so well for England.
Yeah.
The less said about your swelling, the better.
Ben Ingham says, Mitchell Stark batting like a typical Australian all-rounder. Shit. And first we take Manhattan is laughing a lot.
Well, in fact, Stokes is going to bowl the 48th over.
Well, there
He's
you
going to have
go.
to bowl 2 overs then, presumably, if they don't actually bowl Australia out.
The Ben Stokes jingle is 50 seconds
Well,
long.
can we use the
Oh, there's a
the
21
other
second.
one?
Okay.
Ben? Ben Stokes.
Well, as I was making point to Dennis earlier when he was saying that about Stokes' numbers, I was saying it's not necessarily about the numbers, it's about what he does and when he does it. and immediately after I'd sent my last reply, Ben Stokes took a wicket. And that was the wicket of...
Finch.
Finch, yeah, that's right. Very important wicket.
We're joined by Dean Henderson, who has found us after the demise of Test Match Sofa.
Hey, it's only taken you 3 years.
Welcome to the party,
Welcome.
Mr. Henderson.
We've been here 3 years. Where have you been?
You are drinks behind, sir. You are drinks
With a
behind.
lot of ground to make up. Travis Head, poor Travis Head. I feel sorry for Travis Head. He's got Stokes coming in round the wicket to him, and he tries to make
Wide.
room, and it's quite wide outside the off stump. I didn't think that was a wide.
Yeah,
I thought that was because Travis Head made quite a bit of room for himself.
No, he didn't move.
I think it's about lucky.
Tim Everingham says Cosgrove was considered good enough to play for Australia as long as he lost some weight. He said no. Right decision,
A bit
though.
like Samit Patel, really, isn't it?
Fatness wins.
Well, food wins, I suppose, and beer. Stokes in again. He's come running down the wicket, and he's aimed at the almighty Yahoo at that. He's threw the shot far too early. He gets it right on the toe, and although he was aiming that somewhere over mid-wicket, it's shot out into the offside. Morgan Fields an extra, and only one run is the result.
He may have taken his eye off that one.
Yeah,
With
head
that,
may
with,
have gone up in the air.
that, with that agricultural hoik.
I don't know. He's still looking at it okay. It's just that he got it
Yeah.
on the end of the.
He's nearly pulled both arms out of his sockets with that swing.
It was an immense swing. I mean, get 10 out of 10 for the swing.
Andy and Brum suggest we should have played the fuck off jingle for Theresa May.
Oh, yes. Well, we can still do that. Defended by Hazelwood to extra cover, and there's no run.
Not until she leaves.
Yeah, when she does leave, that'll be... Yeah, but I mean, I'm worried about who will get in her place.
Well, that's...
I mean, there's no real ability in that Tory...
I've said Sarah Wollaston, only decent
Party.
Tory.
You are 2 moves away from Michael Gove. be careful
well,
about
less
your
than
next
one
move.
move away from Boris Johnson, aren't we?
Just
God.
remain cautious.
Here's Stokes again, right on round the wicket to the left-handed Hazelwood. Hazelwood props forward and defends it, but only as far as extra cover once again. Morgan is being kept busy there today, and there is no run.
But to quote from Alec Guinness, a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, very
Yes.
apt. Jonah says, did you hear Cricket Australia put out a video yesterday saying how much money would be robbed from children by the players' contract?
Oh, did they?
Children.
To which Greg replies after this ball.
Wide outside the off stump, cut by Hazelwood. He'll certainly get one. He might think about coming back for the second. Decides against it, or certainly Travis Head decides against it once he gets to that end.
To which Greg replies, Cricket Australia are a giant fucking bunch of Bradmans. Fuck them.
Yeah, they well, I mean, from what I can
They're
understand...
cricket administrators. There are no decent cricket
Yeah, but it's very
administrators.
strange, isn't it? I mean, when they've got a pretty good team. I mean, you always thought they were rubbing along quite well. They renegotiated the way that they're going to pay them. Wide outside the off stump, he goes down on one knee. Head tries to drive over the top of extra cover, but makes no contact through the keeper, no run.
Is that the same way they renegotiated the doctor's contract?
Oh, possibly, yes. Well, as I understand it, they're not going to pay them anything from the income that Cricket Australia make, and they always had that. But then, did they not agree to the new structure, or
Well,
what happened
they
with it?
don't really have an option of going elsewhere, do they? So it's
That's
a
true.
monopoly.
Slow ball from Stokes, worked away off his pads to deep mid-wicket.
Which, of course, they do these days because they have the IPL and so on.
I think it's unfair that only one company makes the game monopoly.
Very good.
Oh dear. He's here all... No, he's not.
I'm here till later
He's
on
here
this
all
afternoon.
day. Not all week. Not all week.
If you could say that with less of a sense of impending doom, Hendo, that would be lovely.
Gus says, do you think Pat Cummins mesmerises batsmen with his dreamy blue eyes?
He's quite dreamy, I suppose. I know there was a long discussion yesterday about best-looking cricketers, but I wasn't involved because I was at work.
What's your sliding scale of dreaminess?
I don't have a sliding scale.
Do you not have a sliding scale?
Not with regards to male cricketers, no.
Okay, on a sliding scale of 1 to 10, 6 being the highest, where would you rate Cummings in terms of dreaminess?
He looks just like all the other Australians. They're just, you can't tell them apart. Like, do they all wear masks? Or do they only allowed to pick people who look exactly like that? I mean,
Do you think so? Pat Cummins, I think Pat Cummins is one of the better-looking Australians.
That is Cricket Australia's great secret.
I would have said
maybe so.
Ball's back into the attack.
Ball, boom.
Oh yeah, swinging in and out, baby.
Goodness gracious, Jake balls of fire.
Yeah, swinging in and out, baby. Well, Travis Head has a big swing at that. clears the front leg, goes for the big drive. Ball goes over the top of the stumps.
First ball of the spell from Ball. First spell of Wood's spell. Both slower balls. Now, Wood took Smith's wicket with that. So whether that's a deliberate ploy, first up.
That's another slower ball, and he's got a big outside edge. He's going to need a brilliant dive from Mark Wood down at third man. He can't quite get there. The ball hits him probably somewhere in the shoulder. And no, in the face, I think he's indicating. And he eventually picks it up and prevents them getting more than, well, I think they only got one. I mean, he may have got two as it went so far away from him. We'll have to see who's facing next delivery. It would have taken something to get to that. It really would have. Head got two. They got two because Head's back. And he's gone for a big cross-batted hoik into the onside. It's going to drop over the boundary sponge despite Root and Stokes coming from different directions. That's a massive and wonderful hit from Travis Head, who now goes to 58 and takes Australia to 264 for 9.
Now if a 6 turned out to be 9, oh, I don't mind.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to jump over the rope, catch that, and throw it back, are you?
Stokes turned around and was like, I've got it. I don't have it.
No.
Mayank says, Aussie's late inning collapse, it's like Christmas in June.
Bowls him a Yorker this time. It ends up being a low full toss, which is driven quite pleasantly by Head to mid-off Plunkett fields. He hit it too firmly in a way, so no run could be scored. 2 balls to go in this over and then just 1 to come. Can they get 280 maybe?
Given how warm it is in Australia at Christmas in June, they should be used to that.
Yeah, that's true.
Lazy rocket scientist, Glass Bangle Tigers not yet out of the jungle yet.
Here's Ball again, right arm over the wicket. He's advancing and he bowls him an absolutely wonderful slower bouncer. That is brilliant improvisation from Ball when he saw him coming. Maybe he went too early and I've seen England coaches saying you've got to have in your mind what you're going to bowl as you come up, but he surely saw him coming there and maybe changed his mind.
Was that
No.
Overhead height?
No, it wasn't.
No? Sure?
No. So great bowling from Ball. He's been quite expensive. He's got 1 ball to go in his spell. His figures are none for 60 today. 2 or 3 good balls that could have taken wickets in his early spell.
You did, let's say earlier on, how that he has got the whiff of the expensive about him.
Yes, when things aren't really going for him.
Like Finn.
Yep. Here he is again. Another Yorker, which is dug out to mid-wicket by Head, deep mid-wicket, and he comes through for 1, which is good because he's been able to keep the strike. He'll have strike going into the final over with Australia on 265 for 9.
David Franklin says, Christ, it's good to see Rashid bowling like this. What a spell.
And it was a good spell. Okay, he got lucky with that wicket of Stark, and it was a dreadful ball. But that sometimes happens with spin bowlers.
I was going to ask you, 2 spinners to Australia. Yes or no?
I think they might. I mean, I think the way Rashid's been bowling, when I've seen him, but would he be able to get 2 into the Test side? I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
because with the likes of Sydney and the like, you turn around and
they
go...
always talk about Sydney, but by the time you get to Sydney, you kind of feel that it's probably decided, the series. But it may not be. Stokes round the wicket to Head. He's in, bowls, and he lifts this into the outfield. Oh, a great attempt by Jason Roy, who leapt into the air, threw a hand up, but it was not enough. And this is great hitting from Travis Head. It's another 6, and it's taken him to 65.
One talk over the line, sweet Jesus, one talk over the line.
Yeah, very good hit. Oh, it wasn't that far away from his fingertips, but I don't think there's any way that even if he caught that, he could have avoided coming down on the boundary sponge.
I was worried about the effect on his sternum area with the boundary sponge.
Indeed. His Stokes again bowls, and he's gone for another big hit. That's gone high in the air. I think someone should be underneath that. They are, and they've dropped it. They got right underneath it. I think it's
Stokes,
Plunkett.
isn't it?
No, it's Plunkett. Stokes is bowling, and
of course.
Plunkett has spilled that running in from the long off boundary, and Head has got back for 2. More to the point, should really have taken that. That's the second catch that Plunkett's dropped today.
Well, he's taken 2 pretty decent ones, only when he didn't have to move, though.
He was having to run in at quite a pace to get to that, and maybe the momentum is what forced the ball out of his hands. Stokes in again to Head. He comes across his crease and then gets a thick outside edge, which Butler can't stop, even though it goes flying away through first slip. And the runs are coming suddenly for Australia, who've got back to 275 for 9.
So after 3, the scribes would write 4.
Just can't keep
Oh, that's
down.
it. Sorry.
No, I was as surprised as you were.
Yeah, I was just waiting for more.
It's just random button pressing over here. It's just,
Well,
Greg.
10 runs off this over so far. And he's in again. Bowles smacked back at him. And it's...
oh, not taking the run.
No, he doesn't take the run to long off, which is interesting. No, surely they got... Didn't they get... Oh, hang on. When he was dropped, did they actually not run? I think they didn't run because it's the second ball is...
No, it's classed as a dot ball.
it's a dot ball, isn't it? I thought they got back for 2. Obviously, I would have seen that if we could see the whole field, but with just the camera to rely on, we were fooled by that.
Do you think it's very, given what happened in the T20 final? Stokes bowling the final over again?
Well, here he is, in, Bowles, wide of the crease and smacked down to long off by Head, but he thinks that even with 1 ball to go, it is better that he is at the receiving end rather than Hazelwood, and so they take no run. 275 for 9, 1 ball to go.
I noticed that they moved Plunkett and put Morgan in that fielding position.
And here is Stokes turning to bowl to Head from round the wicket. Head smacks that, gets a thick inside edge. He sets off. He's going to try and get 2 runs to deep mid wicket. They're going to come back. It's probably going to the wrong end. The throw comes in. It's swept back onto the stumps by Butler, but I think he would have been better going to the bowler's end. Head gets back for 2. Takes Australia eventually to 277 for 9, which is a lot worse than they would have expected. It's a lot better than they would have imagined 3 overs ago. So England will need 278 runs to win, and if that should happen, Australia will be out of the 2017 Champions Trophy.
The saying is, if you can keep your head while all about you are losing theirs, and
They've kept their head.
well, certainly Wade has kept his head.
Wade?
Head.
Travis.
Sorry,
Head has kept his head.
Head has kept his head. 71, better than a runner ball.
Very good.
Whilst Carnage has gone on around him.
Absolutely. Well, he saw 5 go down for 15 at the other end, just when Australia were looking to accelerate. So he's actually done really well on his own to get Australia to 277.
I think Bear has lost his bet on Smith being the highest run scorer from Australia. I think with that last flurry of runs. So apologies to you there, Bear.
Well, the England fielders are standing back and allowing Mark Wood and Adil Rashid to take the applause. They've got 4